All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a huge paradox, something that's happening right now in the world of business and technology. Companies are pouring billions, literally billions, into AI. But when you look at the actual results, the big, game-changing revolution everyone's been promised, it's kind of missing in action. So let's figure out what's really going on.
And look, this isn't just a hunch. We're seeing it reported in major publications. Take this quote from the Wall Street Journal. They say AI use is stunningly high. But at the same time, leaders, especially in finance, are looking around and asking, okay, so where's the significant return? The investment is huge, but the actual strategic value just isn't there for most companies.
So that's the big question, right? Why is this real impact so hard to find? Well, researchers at Vlerick Business School Center for Financial Leadership wanted to get to the bottom of this, and they did something smart. They went straight to the people on the front lines, surveying over 100 senior finance executives to find out what's really holding things back.
This brings us to what they call the AI implementation gap. And what the research shows is this isn't some abstract, high-level problem. No, for finance teams, this is a daily struggle. They're caught in this really tricky balancing act.
I mean, think about it. On one side, they have all this pressure to push forward, to accelerate AI initiatives, find those new growth opportunities. But on the other side, all their core responsibilities are still there. They still have to manage financial risk, make sure everything's compliant, deliver razor-sharp reporting. It's like you're trying to build a spaceship while you're still flying the plane. And it's no surprise that one study found it's just leading to confusion and overload.
Okay, so when things go wrong with these big, expensive tech projects, where do we usually point the finger? I think we all know the default answer. We tend to challenge a common myth.
And that usual suspect is the technology. It's just so easy to blame the tools, right? You hear it all the time. Oh, the data's a mess. Or the AI model just isn't sophisticated enough. Or maybe the classic, we just picked the wrong software.
But here's the twist. The research points to a totally different conclusion. The technology, it's not the main obstacle. The real hurdle, the thing that's actually tripping everyone up, is the organization itself. It's about how our teams are set up and whether they're even capable of absorbing all this new tech.
And this leads us to what the researchers call the hidden trade-off. It's this idea that the organizational challenges create a kind of hidden friction, a subtle force that can completely derail progress, even when you have the best of intentions.
So the research breaks it down into two essential activities. On one hand, you've got AI experimentation. This needs to be fast and agile, letting teams try new things, fail, and iterate quickly. On the other hand, you need cross-functional collaboration. This is slower. It's about building trust, coordinating with other departments, and making sure all that cool experimentation actually helps the business. Now, on their own, both of these things are fantastic, right? You want both.
But, and this is the absolute kicker, here's the trap. When you push teams to do both of these at the same time without the right organizational support, they actually work against each other. It creates gridlock. And this isn't just a gut feeling, the data is crystal clear. As you can see, focusing on just experimentation, positive value. Focusing on just collaboration, also positive. But when you try to do both at once, bam! The impact on strategic value turns negative. That's right, you actually go backward. It's a classic case of trying to do too much, too fast, and it backfires. So, if that's the trap, how do you get out of it? What are the successful companies doing differently? Well, the research points to two keys to success, two fundamental organizational enablers that completely change the game. Let's take a look. The first is all about boosting employee retention, and the second, it's about creating what's called financial slack. So let's start with the people. So why does retention matter so much for AI? Well, it's pretty simple when you think about it. When you have high retention, you have stable teams. And stable teams have deep knowledge about how the company actually works. They've already built those cross-functional relationships. There's a foundation of trust. So when it's time to try something new, they don't have to waste time building trust from scratch. They can just go. It smooths out all that friction we were talking about. And check out this quote from Doug Chambers, the CFO at US Cellular. It's a brilliant real-world example. He says, they regularly place people in new business-facing roles. They're not just hoping people stick around. They are actively building the relationships and the perspective needed for the whole organization to be more agile.
It's that agility, built through retaining and developing people, that allows them to really adopt new tech.
Okay, that brings us to the second key enabler, creating financial slack. Now, when you see a number like $64 billion, Microsoft's AI budget, you might think this is only for the mega corporations. But that's not really the point. It's really about creating a protected space for experimentation to happen. Microsoft CFO Amy Hood talks about this. She creates, and I love this phrase, disciplined guardrails. This means the teams have the freedom to invest in experiments, but in a way that doesn't put the core business at risk. It's about carving out a safe zone for innovation so it doesn't have to fight for survival against the day-to-day business. And that's a principle any company of any size can use.
So when you put all of this together, it paints a really clear picture. The whole problem of getting AI to work isn't what we thought it was. It's a fundamental leadership challenge. It's time to stop focusing just on the tech, the dashboards, the software, and start looking at our organizations. Because unlocking AI's potential isn't a tech challenge, it's a leadership challenge. It's not about who can buy the newest, shiniest AI tool, it's about who can build an organization that can actually use it. An organization with stable teams and the breathing room to experiment and, actually innovate.
And that really leaves us with one critical question every leader needs to ask themselves. Is your organization structured to innovate, or is it just structured to purchase technology? Because the answer to that question is going to determine whether your big AI investments turn into a real strategic advantage or just another disappointing, expensive line item on the budget.